Alrighty, well, it was good to get back on the field this morning with the guys. Anytime you lose a ball game that you feel like you didn't perform the way you want to perform, one of the best remedies is getting right back to it and cleaning things up, fixing some of the mistakes that you made. Obviously, we did not play anywhere near our capability Saturday night. And so the challenge is, regardless of the opponent, is how do we get as close to perfection and chase perfection as we can at every position group. And so I think that's the mindset with our team. I like the way they came in today with a workman-like mentality, which is good. So I feel good about moving forward. The reality of it is, I told the team today, one team in the history of the NFL has ever gone undefeated. So in our game, you have adversity. You get faced with adversity. You have losses. How you respond to those losses is what's critical. I mean, that's the difference between the great teams, the good teams, and the average teams. And so this is a big week for us, and how we respond to not playing the way I know we're capable of playing and getting ourselves back on the horse and moving forward and playing the way we're capable of doing it. So, adversity strikes. It is what it is. We know what it is. Okay, now what are we going to do about it? And I think that's one of the key components to our approach this week as we move forward towards Rice. On a side note, Casey will start this week at quarterback. Hudson will play, very similar to the same format we had when Hudson started and Casey would play. So I feel good about that. Both guys have been battling. Both guys have been competing. I think it'll be good for Hudson to take a little bit of a deep breath coming off of last week's game, and it'll be a great opportunity for Casey to step in and battle and compete with the ones early on in the ball game. So I feel good about that.
Raise your hand if you have a question. We'll get a mic to you. Start in the back right with Terry.
Coach, good afternoon or good morning. So can you walk us through what was the decision and how you got to the point to have Casey come in and start the game?
Well, I think Casey's performed well. He the Louisiana game, he had, I think, 3 drives, scored 10 points, came in against Arkansas, put 14 points on the board. The bottom line, it's not always about how you execute every play. It's about, are you maneuvering the offense down the field to score points? And I think Casey's put himself in a good position to do that. Obviously different circumstances as opposed to maybe what Hudson was dealing with early in the game. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. I think both guys are competing like crazy. And like I've said all along, we're going to need both of them. And I think it's fair to Casey to give him this opportunity, and we're going to let him go and see what happens.
Middle, Brian.
Steve, you mentioned in August that you couldn't worry about how the other quarterback felt based on who you chose. And I wonder, do you give any thought at all to what changing the quarterback message that sends to the locker room?
No. I think that at the end of the day, I'm the head coach. I'm the leader of these men. I stand up in front of this team. I'm very clear with my message. I don't think that anybody on our team would ever think that I'm doing anything that isn't in the best interest of our football team. And that's the approach that we have. So I'm not as concerned about that, as long as I do a really good job of conveying the message of why we're doing what we're doing.
Back middle, Roger.
Coach, you spoke of losing kind of inevitable at some point. What do you learn about a team, a staff that's all new to each other now that some adversity is hit, and maybe especially with the leaders, who's going to be the guys that, the peers that lead this group?
Well, I think the one thing is this. We've got a really experienced coaching staff, and we've got guys that have been in big games, big ball games, critical moments of their careers. And, I rely on our coaching staff to be the leaders in this group, to get our players to understand of this is the approach we're going to have moving forward. And I think our players, at the end of the day, nobody wants to lose. Everybody wants to win. But we've got to get our mindset to, we hate to lose more than we want to win. And that's something that we've got to shift in our locker room. And, that process is underway, and we'll get it done.
You're right, Amar.
Coach, when you broke down the film of both quarterbacks, what did you see on the film, and was that kind of what led to your decision to kind of make a move going into this week?
Well, I thought Hudson was a little antsy in the pocket. We weren't great protecting him early on in the game, but I thought he was a little antsy, and we missed some opportunities. The game could have easily gone a different direction than it did. Obviously, the big punt return, fumble, we're out of bounds. They get the ball instead of us getting first and goal on the 4. We missed a couple deep balls there to Jay Witt. We missed a deep ball to Xavier Worthy. And I thought Casey was really, showed a lot of poise and calm in the pocket, delivered the ball down the field. So all those things add up to, hey, this guy deserves his chance. And I feel good about it.
In the middle, Bob.
You obviously don't know who you are until you get punched in the mouth, and it's hard with just 9 months of trying to figure that out in an off season. When you went back and watched the tape, how surprised were you at the response, and were you surprised just in general with the way everything went down Saturday night?
I don't know if surprised is the right word to use on this. I thought our defense did a heck of a job in the first half of this game of just holding on. It was like you could feel, it was almost like a dam. The water was building, and they were holding on. We were forcing field goals. We were hanging in there. We get the turnover. The offense scores. And, one of the critical plays in the game was the second long. We get a really good stop on defense. Second long, they run the double move and hit the big, deep ball down the field that I think kind of deflated us a little bit. And that is an area where we have to be better. Hey, teams are good. Coaches are good. They got good players. Everybody we play, they're going to hit their plays, but that next play is the most important play. And I think that's where we lost a little bit of our grit in the game on the defensive side of the ball. If at nothing else, hold them to another field goal. And it's 19-7. We'll settle in. But, at the end of the day, I think that our team is a gritty team. I think they play hard. We didn't play great Saturday night. That at the end of the day, that is what came out of it. We played hard. We didn't do things right. And when you get in those environments, the key to the drill is doing things right, doing your job really well. And we didn't do it. And it caught up to us time and time again until the game got out of hand. So that's what we have to fix.
Over here on your left. Cedric.
Steve, you mentioned just the sheer massive personnel in the SEC, big guys, huge guys. How much did that play a role? I mean, they're big guys over there, and also how fluid is this quarterback thing? Is this something that's going to be going on all season? Or are you more comfortable, of course, getting one guy entrenched as that starter?
Well, I think it showed up in the game. The trajectory of that game went, they had the lead, they got control of the game, they were able to lean on us, they were able to run the football, they eliminated the run, playing really a 3-safety defense. So at the end of the day, their big people won. And that's the style of that league. It's a big man's league. And we have to get ourselves to a point to where not only can we stand up against that, but we have to play at a high level against that style of play. The quarterback thing, ideally everybody wants to have a starter, the backup, everybody wants to know what it is. We're in a unique situation. We've got 2 good guys. They play well, they played hard, they prepare. I think the team believes in both of them. That was evident from week 1 against Louisiana, week 2 against Arkansas. So we'll put ourselves in position to make sure that both those guys are, in a position to excel. I don't know how long it's going to go, and that's part of it is unfortunate because you like to know exactly where you are, but part of it is I kind of like it because they're making it hard, and that should be the characteristic of our team at every position, that every week you just don't know because both guys are battling so hard. And so I appreciate that about both Casey and Hudson.
In the middle, Dennis.
When you watch tape, the O-line, losing it at the line of scrimmage, how fixable is it? How do you go moving forward? Because I think the knee-jerk reaction is like, that's it. That's what we have. How do you see it?
How I see it is we didn't trust our training. They had played a 4-down front the week before against Rice. This week came, they played an odd front, dime defense, and we didn't trust our principles and trust our training and fall back on the things that we had been building for 8 months. And that's something that we have to get fixed. I don't think it was about manpower or physicality or talent. It was doing what you're supposed to do, down in and down out. And that's a very fixable problem. I'm okay with that, but now we have to fix it.
On your back left over here, Chip.
Steve, can you talk about Casey's ability to run? I think he averaged 6.3 a carry, and how much of a factor is that when maybe some things are breaking down, and how can that help?
Well, I thought Casey competed really well. Definitely showed up on third down, showed up in the red area. He battled. He was ready to go. I give him a lot of credit. That's a hard thing to do when you sit around basically for 3 quarters and then it's time for you to go and to jump right into the fray. But we're fortunate because Casey and Hudson are both really athletic, really good runners, make good decisions when it comes to pulling the ball down and getting first down. So that aspect of their game is an advantage to us. So we'll continue to utilize it.
Stay on the left, Jeff.
Sark, I know you've already talked about quarterback and offensive line, but after a game like that, how much do you look at it and battle with that decision of, hey, we need to make personnel decisions or scheme decisions, or, hey, it was one bad night, just stay the course, trust the process?
Well, I think one of the keys is for us is stay the course. We're a new program. We're a new coaching staff. We're a new scheme. And the natural knee-jerk reaction is the sky is falling. We got to change everything. And we've got a system, and we've got coaches that have withstood the test of time, and we'll rely on that. And the players will continue to buy into that. And in the end, we'll reap the benefits of that. So we're going to stay the course, but we definitely have to fix the errors that occurred.
Up front in the middle, Kirk.
Yeah, Steve, we're talking about mindset a little bit. I was curious, do you light into your team and blast them, or are you more calm and low key? And what is their psyche? Is it fragile, or do you think it's strong?
Well, I think the best coaches in the world are great teachers. And I'm a leader of men, and I think it's really important to be very clear with my messaging. And sometimes when you get loud and yell and berate people, they miss the message because all they hear is loud and berating. So I try to be very clear and concise with my message with them so that they know what we're going to work on next week. And so that was kind of the approach that we took. I think our team is good. I think they quite frankly appreciate the fact that when we showed up this morning, we were all there and we were ready to coach them. We want them to play as good as they can play. And everything we're trying to do is put them in position to be successful. And I think they really appreciate that.
Back middle, Ed.
Coach, your thoughts on Rice? They played well against Arkansas at times, struggled mightily against Houston. Your thoughts on Rice and how you approached him this week?
Well, I have a great deal of respect for Coach Bloomgren. I've known him for a long time. His time with the New York Jets, his time with Stanford. He's had a lot of success over his career. He's got coaches on his staff that have worked for me. So lot of respect for what he does and how they go about their business. I will say the one thing that I admire about them is they go after you. They attack you. They do it in their style and their way, whether it's two-back offense and running the ISO play and forcing you to step up and play action pass, or the attacking nature of their defense. They're gonna tax you mentally to make sure you're prepared for the things that could potentially come. But at the end of the day, this is about us and our preparation and what we do, and then reacting to whatever they present to us and then operating at a high level. So great deal of respect for what Rice is and what they're about and how they go about it. But this week is more so than ever about us.
On your left over here, Danny.
Steve, are you at all concerned about Cameron's kind of slow start in the kicking game, and have you thought at all about reevaluating what you asked him to do?
At first I was, but then you think about, the guy missed a 52-yard field goal the other night, In the NFL, if you make that kick, you get a standing ovation. So, I think there's lofty expectations for Cameron this year. He's performed at a high level. He's been punting like crazy. His kickoffs have been tremendous. Missed a couple field goals, I think he'd be the first guy to tell you, I can't believe I dropped the snap. Like, I don't think that had anything to do with fatigue or his approach to the game. It was a human error. I mean, those things happen. It wasn't that he blocked a wrong person or things that happened. He dropped the ball. That happens. If I threw a ball to every one of you, I'm guessing this group, half you would drop it. That's the way it goes. So that's a human error. But his approach and what he's done for us, I feel great about where he's at. And we're going to need him before it's all said and done. And he's going to make big kicks for us. And, I'm excited for that opportunity when it shows itself.
Back middle, Ross.
Hey, Coach. By your account, Hudson is an even-keeled guy. What did you make of his demeanor in Arkansas on Saturday night? And did he show signs of frustration at any point at all?
Well, obviously that was a pretty hostile environment. They did a heck of a job. They had the crowd cranked up. The student section was there for pregame. They were ready to go. I think Hudson's demeanor was fine. He just got antsy in the pocket. He started moving around when he didn't need to move around, and that created timing issues in the passing game that we can't afford. So I didn't feel like there was this level of frustration that he got out of control. I just feel like he was frustrated because it wasn't working, but part of it was we were moving around too much in the pocket, and we got to clean that up.
To your right, Omar.
And Coach, I know you talked a little bit about your message to the players after the loss and when your team struggles in all three phases. What was your message to your coaching staff on what needs to be done to make sure everyone's better prepared going forward?
My message was I'm glad it happened now and not 5 weeks from now when we're in Big 12 play. There's plenty of things to fix. Sometimes fixing issues, they're hard to see and they're hard to fix when you win. But when you lose, things get magnified. And, we had a lot of issues in this game that got magnified that, we've got an experienced coaching staff that will get fixed and will get their players ready to play. And so that, I'm leaning on the experience of our staff, which, we've got a great staff. I love those guys. They're tremendous coaches. They're great leaders. And I think our players will follow.
On your left over here, Jeff.
Sark, kind of going back to the offensive line real quick, do you feel like the starting five you've got right now, the more snaps they play together, the better they'll get? Or do you and Coach Flood want to get a look in game at a guy like Hayden Connor or Andre Carrick and maybe get them some more reps to see what it looks like?
I think the guys that we have playing need to play more together. New system, new schemes. We're seeing the gauntlet of defenses right now, and I take a little bit of blame of that with the players because we've had a lot of success offensively. So people are trying to give us a lot of different looks, and that's taxing on the offensive line. But I think over time, they'll play better and better together. Would I love to see Andre and Hayden get in there? Yeah. But we have to earn that time to get them in the game, and that comes from execution and us playing at a high level.
Stay here on the left, center.
Steve, when you looked into the eyes of your guys after the game, did you see the right amount of anger and hurt that you can channel into something positive? And also, did that environment suitably prepare you guys for what you're going to be facing? Iowa State, West Virginia, hostile environments.
I'm going to go backwards. I thought it was a great environment. They did a heck of a job. Arkansas was they were ready to roll. It was a little uncomfortable, I'll be quite frank with you, at the end of the game when they stormed the field and trying to get our players off the field. But that was a heck of an environment. It was great for college football. And the goal is that we're always playing in those kind of environments, because if you're playing in that environment, that means you're a pretty good team, that they're coming to see you play. So with that, I think that part's important. Our team hurt in that locker room Saturday night. And as I've said all along, you have to, I think the great teams hate to lose more than they like to win. And that isn't always at the game. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And when you go into the week with that mentality, you're doing everything you need to do because you're so afraid to have that feeling again of that hurt that you had. And I think our team enjoyed winning week 1 against Louisiana, but they didn't know the feeling that they would have if they lost. And we got slapped in the face with the feeling of loss. So hopefully that triggers some thoughts and some things in our preparation to like, I don't want that feeling again. I hate to lose. As much as I love to win, I hate to lose. And that's what drives me. I don't want to lose. And hopefully our team takes on that same approach.
Front middle, Bob.
Just your evaluation of the receivers. I know there were a couple drop balls, but just what you thought overall of the receiver play.
I think we're playing okay at wideout. We're not nearly explosive as we need to be. Our pass game has been spotty at best. And for us to really go as an offense, that has got to be a factor to the opponent. And right now, I don't know if we're posing anything to our opponent from a pass game standpoint that fears them. So we've got to clean that up for sure.
Got time for 2 last ones. Far right, Terry.
Coach, on the lighter side, on Sunday, did you get a call from your mom, and did she give you an earful and put wind back into your sails?
No, I didn't. I think she knew I was probably in a place where it wasn't the time to call, but I know she watched, and I know she was probably as frustrated as I was. That's for sure.
Front middle, Brian.
Not so light. You mentioned the experience of the coaching staff, and you know a lot of you guys have been at very elite levels, and I wonder when you're looking at all the position groups, how many problems are you facing of, well, that's the best we got, or no, we have someone better than that, or we're just going to have to work with this?
Well, I think that's one of the misnomers about coaching is that when you coach at an elite high level, that every player is elite. The idea of coaching is to get the players to play as close to whatever their elite level is. And that's what our job is. And I think our coaches are up for the task. I think our players are responding to it. And the reality of it is, when we get into these other environments on the road, we're going to need more players playing to that level, to that standard of elite, of whatever they're capable of. And that'll be good enough. And so that's our approach.